Alright, this is Vegeta8259, and this is the final part of my Let's Build SD Nu Gundam video series, and this will be the review of the actual kit. Now, since the last video, I have completely painted this kit. I used mostly spray paint. Let's see, what did I do? I spray painted all the white parts. Any white you see on here is spray paint, except for on the backpack here. And then I spray painted black the backpack, the torso, and the feet, and the little black part on the V-fin. And everything else is all done with bottled paints and a paintbrush. And that's usually how I go about painting most of my kits. I rarely, if ever, use Gundam markers. In fact, I did use them on this kit only for the 3 little vents on the face. For when I do panel lines, I actually use a brush tip art pen. It's like a really light gray, like a 10% gray, I think. And I use that because it's much more subtle than just a black panel line that you could get with the Gundam panel line marker. And then for the decals, I used the decals that came with the kit. But, well, I didn't use any of these, but for the little symbols, the 2 Amuro symbols and the one on the heavy shield, I just cut them out. As you can see, there was like a little white border around the little Amuro symbol, so I just cut it as close to the red part as possible, and then stuck it on there, so it looks a lot sharper and a lot neater than if I just stuck it on straight off of the decal sheet. Anyway, I guess that's it for the paint and decals, so let's go over articulation. He's got a peg shoulder, so he moves 360. He has a ball joint up in the shoulder, so that allows his arms to go in and out, and forward and backwards a little bit, and they can rotate 360. And he's just got a simple polycap elbow joint that bends about 90 degrees, and he can also rotate just above the elbow. And his hands can rotate as well, 360. His head is on a peg polycap, so it can go up and down just a bit, and it can rotate up until the chin hits the shoulder armor. It can't rotate any further than that. The torso forgot to take a piece of armor off. The torso can rotate, I think. I'm not sure if it'll go 360 though. Let's see. Yes, it will. It will go 360. You just have to be kind of careful with it because his backpack hangs down really low here. And the feet are on ball joints, so they can go forward and back, side to side a little bit, and they can rotate. They could rotate 360 if they didn't hit each other. But yeah, the feet have a fair amount of articulation. There's no legs on this model kit. This was back before they started giving SD kits actual legs. They just had feet. So, but that's not really too much of a down point for me. Anyway, let's get into accessories next. He comes with his funnel system, which, as you saw in the building video, they don't come apart or fold up or anything. This is just 2 pieces of plastic that you snap together. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, this thing was a pain to paint. I mean, it was awful. Painting the back wasn't too bad. Painting all these tiny little thrusters, the red and the black, and trying to keep them from looking messy, it was awful. But with a steady hand and patience, it can turn out looking alright. This beam saber on the back here does not come off. This is permanently attached to his backpack. But it does come with a lit beam saber, which I painted white and fluorescent pink. and he can hold it, and it looks pretty nice. This is the only beam saber he comes with. He doesn't come with a lit version of this beam saber. He only comes with his big one. Comes with a nice looking beam rifle, which was all black, so I had to paint it white and black. And again, the only disappointment I have with this kit are his weapons, which are hollow on the sides. His beam rifle is just one of them. But other than that, only side that isn't hollow, it actually looks really nice. Let's see, his Hyper Bazooka, actually I think it's called the new Hyper Bazooka. Again, it was all molded in white, so I had to paint all this black stuff, little missiles on the back red, and this side is hollow. Let's see, and then he's got his shield, which I cut out the decal and put on the shield there, and not too much detail. He's just got a peg here that where he can hold it in his hand. So simple, just one piece. And then Nu Gundam comes with his heavy weapon system, which Bandai just announced a couple days ago that they were about to release or re-release the high-grade Nu Gundam with this same heavy weapon system. And once they do that, you'll be able to get a real sense of how big this stuff is. Because here on the SD kit, it doesn't look all that big. But once you see it on the high grade, you'll see that it's absolutely massive. Anyway, he's got extra armor for his back skirts, which you saw me pulling off earlier. And it's got a peg that goes in a hole. Fits on nicely. He's got a much bigger beam rifle. Let's see, where does the first one go? It's about twice the size of his normal beam rifle, and it's all white. Again, hollow on one side. And then he's got a much bigger shield. Like I said, this is one of the accessories where you can't really tell how big it is on the SD kit. But on the high grade, this shield will be almost as tall as Nu Gundam himself. And just like the other shield, it's got a peg that fits right into his hand. And he's got extra torso and front skirt armor, which comes in the form of two halves that are, again, all white. And they just kind of clip onto the front, but they don't really want to stay on very well. I think there's like a peg that goes inside the chest vents, and it doesn't really hold too good. So, I mean, you can get it to stick, or maybe not. But, yeah. If you do get it to stick, it's going to be really fragile and going to want to fall all over the place. So, you're just going to have to be careful with it. But, that's Nu Gundam with his heavy weapon system. And then he usually has his fin funnels attached, so he looks something like that. And now for a short comparison with the older SD Nu Gundam. Here it is. Now, I did a really crappy job of painting this. I painted this with Gundam markers. And I can't even remember. This kit probably came out in the early 90s. I'm not really sure. But there it is compared to the newer Nu Gundam model kit. And as you can see, it's about half the size of the new one. But at least the beam rifle has detail on both sides. That's because it's just one piece. The fin funnels are hollow on the back, though. But one of them is functional, even though it kind of looks crappy. It does come off and fold up. And he's got googly eyes with pupils that I didn't paint. And that's about it. Not very impressive. I definitely recommend getting this newer one. I really wish they would release a newer Sazabi SD kit, because, you know, I talked earlier about buying the Shibai Sazabi and converting it into a normal Sazabi, which I think is very possible. But I would rather Bandai release a actual Sazabi SD kit. But before I start rambling, I'll go ahead and end this review. Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed this. I know the building process wasn't too involved because I didn't paint it on camera, but I just may do some more Let's Build videos in the future. So, until then, I will see you guys next time.